All right, everybody. It is Thursday night. Johnny Litecoin's joining us. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and we want to know what Johnny has to think about. They plucked the CBDC backdoor out of the Genius Act, and both of these bills are headed to Trump's desk. What is this going to do to crypto? How's it going to affect things? Is it good or bad? We'll hear what Johnny Litecoin thinks about it right after this. Give us a like and share the video. Welcome back on a big crypto week.
Yes. Hey, Lisa, how's everybody doing out there?
Good. I know we are just checking in really quick tonight, but I wanted to get your thoughts. I was very upset a little earlier today. I saw the Genius Act going through. I believe they left that back door swinging wide open for the CBDCs to come in and enslave everybody. And then I saw, my husband actually sent me, and saw this separate bill come through to block CBDCs, which was a Trump campaign promise. So campaign promise kept, as far as I know. We'll see. This bill and the Genius Act are headed both to Trump's desk.
You know, I have my thoughts on this.
Let me know your thoughts on this. Let the world know your thoughts on this.
Sure. So I think the Genius Act is worse than a CBDC. A CBDC would be better than what's in the Genius Act. Now, the Clarity Act, I think, is great. Great bill. We went through this on the show maybe about a month or so ago. Yeah. I liked almost every part of it. The Genius Act, the exact opposite from me. I hate every part of it. It brings us into a digital concentration camp. It gives the banks more control over our lives. It just couldn't be any more horrible. It's not what crypto was meant to be. It, first of all, requires AML KYC. That makes the Patriot Act stronger, which was supposed to go away. They've weaponized that against we the people. Another provision in there states that the entities issuing these stable coins have to have the ability to censor and stop the transactions. How is that crypto? If the entity is required to be able to censor or stop the transactions. So it's not crypto as we know it. It's a digital concentration camp. And as we've seen, these banks do everything the government says and then some. We're better off having the government tell us what to do than the banks. The banks make it 10 times worse. 50 times worse, because they're so afraid of the government that they go so overboard with enforcing everything. Look at Choke Point. Yeah. Choke Point 2.0. The banks enforced it so much more than even what's in there. If the banks, I wouldn't even walk in my bank with a Litecoin shirt on. I turn the shirt on. I've actually not went to the bank because I've had on a crypto shirt. And I just said, I'm not going to risk it because they'll shut my account down. Because anything that smells like crypto would also, the Genius Act is so horrible. So horrible. I just can't, to me, I'd rather a CBDC. And I'm throwing that out there. At least with a CBDC, we could at least pick what was in it, I guess, or there could be some back and forth. Maybe we could have privacy. Maybe we could have it be censorship resistant, some things like that. Mm-hmm. The Genius Act just brings, again, Catherine Austin Fitz talks about this. It brings us into a digital concentration camp. So I guess the thing is, don't use these stable coins at all. But your bank's going to force you to use it. And people do everything they're told. They're going to do exactly what the bank tells them to do. And they're going to be manipulated into it. And the worst part is the average Joe citizen is going to have no clue they're using a stable coin.
I think that's the part
on a Visa card or something like
yeah,
that. So
they're not going to even know they're using
they
it.
won't even know. They won't even know they're using it.
Mm-hmm.
So to
and
me,
they're going
it's
to be tracked and traced more than this even. And this is already listening to us and tracking and tracing.
Not only that, it says that entities that like decentralized stable coins, use of those, you could be thrown in prison.
What?
Yeah, this Genius Act, Lisa, is horrible. It is so horrible.
I thought it was the one that we went over on the show.
That was the Clarity Act. The Clarity Act says clarifies what's a commodity, gives rules for DeFi. Right. So that's good. But the problem is the government is all about these stable coins. The stable coins make the dollar stronger. They even talk about it. Listen to Bissett and these people. Brings dollar supremacy around the world. The reason being because it creates more demand for U.S. treasuries. And that empowers the Federal Reserve note. That empowers the Fed note to be stronger. So this is exactly what the Genius Act it's all about stable coins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Clarity Act good, Genius Act bad.
That is bad.
Really bad. And the thing is, we won't ever get the benefit of the Clarity Act because they're going to put us in this digital concentration camp with this Genius Act, and then have an eyeglass in everything we do. We won't even be able to get into DeFi and get into these platforms. So it's almost like they're making like some, I guess in a way it's kind of like think of it like the cannabis business. Oh, that's maybe it's a bad example, but how it's like it's legal, they're legal businesses, but you can't bank them.
It's like the not cannabis as much. Well, I guess you'd call it cannabis, but like when one of my girlfriends and I were trying to do not the THC side of cannabis, but just the CBD side of cannabis. And we still couldn't get banked, even though that was legal. Yeah. Or even in Oklahoma, when it became legal, THC became legal in Oklahoma, the banks were like, sorry, even though it's legal here, we're under federal rules. So you can't bank.
The banks are not going to let you do. Again, it's going to be the stable coin. It'll just be business as usual for the banks, and now they have more surveillance and more control over us. Is basically it. They could roll in a social credit score easy with this Genius Act, easy peasy. So I think they're messing with us because they got so much focus on no CBDC that they're sneaking this Genius Act through. And people are so focused on the CBDC, they're like, yeah, stable coins, those must be good. Well, they would be good if they did it the right way. They're doing this the wrong way. So I'm really pissed at like Trump and all the people. Not Trump, I don't think he knows. Honest to God, I don't think he even he knows he knows what crypto is, but does he really has he ever sent a crypto transaction personally? No. So does he know? No. He's doing what's being told, but who's ever advising him on this is bad people. In other words, it's bad people that are advising him on this.
Interesting. I had another thing that I wanted to share if we have time. Nick Morgan from a friend of mine that I met doing some really great work at ICANN, which is where they are, they're advocates for people, Investor Choice Advocates Network is what the work that he does. And he actually filed an amicus in the Ripple case because when some of the byproduct of Ripple, quote, burying the hatchet actually ended the attempt to expand Howey. Now, I don't know if this was intended or not, But they filed an amicus brief in the Ripple Labs litigation, like to benefit the token holders, because actually what could retroactively label years old XRP distributions as unregistered security offerings based on later conduct by the distributor, it would adversely impact token holders who could face unanticipated resale restrictions, possible classifications as underwriters, and being stranded on platforms not registered as security exchanges. So they are making an effort. If you don't know about ICANN, and you might want to see, because Ripple, the company, which is separate from the token, may have just screwed their token holders by.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They were clearly not looking out for their token holders when they made their deal with the devil.
I mean, we know I'm not a Ripple fan or an XRP fan. Now, if you've been making money on it, God bless you.
Yeah. And I hope everyone's doing well.
Yeah, I always commend people that make money. If you made money on XRP, what would I do right now? I would swap your profits into Bitcoin and let it sit.
Or Ethereum, like you had recommended that to people to get into Ethereum because there's so much use case and things being built on Ethereum a while back.
And I mean, let's face it, as bad as the Genius Act is, you should still look to profit from it. I'm not telling people don't profit from it. Profit from it. Look, you know what? Make things better for your family. You're going to have more freedom if you have more financial freedom. So the play with the Genius Act was Ethereum, because Ethereum, all these stable coins are going to be built on Ethereum. Now they're going to be like layers on Ethereum and side chains and things like that. So that way they could censor and stop the transactions. That's not Ethereum's fault, but it is bullish for Ethereum. So Ethereum, I recommended Ethereum to everybody on this show. The last show we did, Ethereum was around $2,600. Right now it's over $3,600.
Wow.
So that was a good.
And of course, the disclaimer, the famous disclaimer, none of this is financial advice. Everybody, part of this. And that's where I was like, well, this will force people to not use stable coins, and because of all these crazy regulations, it'll push people to take personal responsibility for their wealth and do things like, buying silver or being in decentralized coins, or, getting out of that quote vampire system, like Westwood says. But some people will choose to submit and continue to be slaves,
Out of 100 people, 98 are going to choose to submit, and 2 out of 100 will choose the path of freedom. Now, with that being said, I think this is, golden. Here's the problem with cryptos became too murky water. So people don't know. They're like, oh, they're like, buy a meme coin. And they think that's crypto and freedom. It's like, a meme coin. I'll give you a great example. I had in my trust wallet, probably because I'm holding wrapped Litecoin that's wrapped on the Binance Smart Chain. Some reason I got some meme coins put in there, like airdropped or whatever.
Oh.
Now, one of them in there went to where it was worth, it showed me the value was over $40,000. I tried to swap it repeatedly into something else. I couldn't. And then finally the value went back to zero. That's a meme coin. You're rich on paper, but you're never going to get the money out.
But you can't move it. Yeah.
You're never going to get the money out. So it might be a nice little high or like a dopamine hit for you, but you ain't getting real wealth out of it. That's why I tell people, if you made money on stuff, put it into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, look, I don't like how Bitcoin's been hijacked. I agree with people with that, but that's not a reason not to own it. Bitcoin is scarce. They only make so much of it. Countries are adopting it. The price of Bitcoin is going to keep going up. Bitcoin's going to be $1 million probably by 2030. That's probably a shoo-in. So why not take advantage of that is my thing. You might as well look out for the opportunities. That's my new thing. Instead of being so idealistic, look out for the opportunities and take advantage of them. Give yourself that financial freedom.
Right. And even with the XRP thing, if you can make some money safely with it.
Yeah, God bless you. You're making money.
Look out for yourself, because they're not looking. Ripple is not looking out for their token holders.
No, but it's not going to be. Yeah. Don't mislead yourself and think they're going to use it. It's part of this. No, like it's part of this new system. That's
what they're telling people.
I've never seen anybody use XRP ever in my life. I've been doing stuff in crypto for 8 years now. Never once, unless somebody had to move money from an exchange to a wallet. That's the only use of XRP I've ever seen. I never seen people use one app, one anything around it. Nothing's ever been used. Litecoin people use. We know that. Right. Look at BitPay. People buy stuff with Litecoin all the time. I don't know. Does BitPay, is XRP accepted on BitPay? Look, I would be curious of their stats. So go to these real world things and see, hey, how many people are actually using XRP? Let's face it, most people that have XRP have it on like Robinhood or something like that. They aren't even holding it themselves. They couldn't do a crypto transaction if you put a gun to their head. To them, it's just like they're owning a stock. So it's not, there's no use of it. So, but like, Bitcoin, there is use. I'll give it that. Even though it doesn't work well, it's slow, but it is used.
And I think people will be able to borrow against Bitcoin in the future. You may not be able to move it, but it would be an asset that you could borrow against in the future, things like that.
Somebody said profits into Litecoin. Litecoin's undervalued. I do always think Litecoin's a good play. However, I'm changing I love Litecoin. It's my favorite coin. It works great. But when you have every single entity against you, it is hard for the price to appreciate. And nobody has any interest in the price of Litecoin going up. Nobody. They all have the interest. Every YouTuber, every institution, everybody has the incentive to keep the Litecoin price down. They don't want it. So with that said, I wouldn't be all in Litecoin either right now. I got to just be honest with everybody. As much as I love Litecoin, I'm on here as Johnny Litecoin. Now, if you have to send someone $1 million and get it there in a safe and timely manner, I got to bet my life on what to use. I'm going to tell you to use Litecoin. It works. It's super reliable. It works. But as far as the price going up, I mean, I don't want to be a bearer of bad news. We can go another 4 or 5 years. Litecoin could be at $100. Are you prepared for that? Where Bitcoin goes to $1 million and Litecoin's at $100. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, I'm not selling my Litecoin. Hell no. Litecoin could also go to $10,000.
Right.
Bitcoin's $1 million. I don't know. But with all the entities against us, I mean, even look at the Trump organization's application for a Bitcoin ETF. They name a Litecoin in there as a threat to Bitcoin, and they talk shit about Litecoin in there. In the Trump families or whatever the thing is, their ETF application. And the president's against Litecoin. Everybody's out there is against Litecoin. So what is that? Because Litecoin actually works. And the thing is, the reason they don't want it, right? Because Litecoin is the most compatible coin with Bitcoin. They do not want you using Bitcoin at all. They don't. They want you buying Bitcoin, the price going up, buy the ETF. Bitcoin treasury companies, they don't want you to think about using it. So the whole problem for them is with Litecoin, because it's so compatible with Bitcoin, You could do these cross-chain atomic swaps.
Oh,
Something that rolls out for Bitcoin, you could easily port it over to Litecoin. They don't want that. They can't have that. Why do you think they've had the CIA, the NSA, all these three-letter agencies having fake accounts talking shit about Litecoin?
interesting.
There's people I don't know that would tweet bad about me. I don't even know these people. They're sitting
Yeah.
around thinking about me. No, it's the CIA or someone else making them do it. They're like,
Oh
hey,
my
let's,
God.
let's discredit what Johnny Litecoin's doing because he's out there pushing crypto adoption, you know?
Did
Man
you
is
ever?
right. Litecoin can make banks irrelevant, and they
Yeah.
don't want that. They need these banks to be strong.
Because that gives them the upper hand in manipulation.
They need the banks to be strong. They're
Yeah.
too powerful, and
You got to
they
be able
got,
to shut people up.
and they got the control over us with the banks.
Yeah.
The banks are a control system, and the banks are a proxy. It's kind of like, yeah, the U.S. isn't at war with Russia. We're just fighting a proxy war utilizing Ukraine as the war with us against Russia. We're at war against them. We're just not telling anybody. So then normies turn on TV and say, no, what are you talking about, Johnny? Ukraine's at war against Russia. It's the same thing. So they use the banks as a proxy against us. They're like, yeah, no CBDC. Well, the banks, your friend. They're going to
Yeah,
do
my
the
bank took away my account. The government didn't shut me down.
right. So
Yeah.
you're going to use these banks to do all the dirty work. They're already doing it. They've already been doing it with choke point. The government doesn't enforce choke point. It's the banks that have to enforce it.
Yeah.
So I look, I think Bitcoin price is going a lot higher. Ethereum's going a lot higher. I think Litecoin price is going to go a lot higher, even with all this said, but I wouldn't be all in Litecoin with all these dark forces against us. But as far as using a crypto goes, Litecoin's the way to go. Use it. It works. It works great. It's phenomenal. So if your life depends on it and you got to send some crypto transactions, Litecoin is there for you. But are you prepared for Bitcoin to go to 1 million and Litecoin to still be sitting around $100?
Wow.
And know that it'll be these deep state piece of craps, all these people that did it to us.
Yeah, that's part of it. We just have to start valuing different things. You know, we have to change our perspective of what has value and stop looking at what they tell us has value.
Yes.
You know,
I think gold and silver have a really bright future because it's easier to understand for people. And let's face it, there's only 5 precious metals. And really, it's all gold and silver. Yeah, some people buy platinum or palladium, but pretty much it's gold and it's silver. The U.S. was started on a bimetallic system. That's written into our Bix talks about it.
yes.
It's in our Constitution. Silver and gold are money. So that's a lot easier for people to understand. So I think if anything, like if I do talk to someone about crypto, which I very seldomly do anymore, unless they come to me. If you come to me, I'll talk your ear off about crypto, but I'm not here to sell you on it anymore. I can't, because unless you have knowledge of the system, the bad guys, gold, silver, I can't talk to you about crypto. You're not prepared. It's like flying a plane and you've never let me go fly a plane. Well, you don't have any training to fly a plane. You can't fly a plane. You're not capable of flying a plane, you know? So gold and silver is easier for people to understand. So I just tell people, you know what? Buy gold and silver. Don't mess with this crypto thing. It's too complicated. This and that. Just buy gold and silver, and then you'll be good. Don't buy an equal amount of both. Some people just like gold. I said, well, I wouldn't just buy gold. I'd have silver. Silver's way more undervalued. I was talking to somebody yesterday. They said they don't like silver. They were in the jewelry business. I said, yeah, because silver's not good for jewelry because it oxidizes and it tarnishes. And they said, well, there's no demand for silver, they told me. I said, in the jewelry business, I said, in the industrial world, in the real world, there's so much more demand for silver than there is for gold. So I kind of enlightened them on silver, and they were like, so you should own both. I was like, exactly. You need to have both. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, you guys know you can go to, I didn't know he was going to go here with all this, but you can go to milesfranklin.com. You can email info@milesfranklin.com or Andy@milesfranklin.com. And you can get your silver there, and they will give you, tell them that Lisa sent you or Litecoin Lisa sent you.
Yes.
And you'll get the family discount and all the specials that they're running this week. And that's where we get our silver, and they mail it to you in a very discreet packaging. So your mailman or anybody doesn't know that you're getting silver.
Very important. Great place to buy silver or gold. It helps support the show.
Thank you.
But Lisa only offers services that she uses and likes. And Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin is a great guy. He's a wonderful human. Yes. Check out some of his he does podcasts every day. I don't know how this man has the energy for it. My God, he's putting out fire info. This is a guy you want to support. You want to support him. You want to support Lisa. They're a great company, so definitely buy through them. I 100% credibility, so highly recommended from my end.
Yeah, I'm really careful about, I love my community and our friends, and I'm always really careful about any product or company that I promote or people that I genuinely know personally. Andy and his wife, I have met many, many times through Bixwear, our personal friend. Andy's had dinner at our home, and I trust them implicitly. And yes, we purchase through Miles Franklin, and that's who we do our business with. And that's who I would trust my friends and family with completely. So that's who I would recommend you go check out. So thanks once again. I hope to see you again soon, and I hope you guys all have a great weekend. We will see Westwood tomorrow for happy hour. So I hope everybody joins us back tomorrow for
Thank you guys. Sorry I was so angry, but I had to get it out.
That's where we are. A little righteous anger is good for sometimes. All right. Take care. Bye.